Okay, I want you to picture this. The year is 2026. Somewhere in a quiet office in Silicon Valley, an engineer presses a single key, and within seconds, an artificial intelligence system writes thousands of lines of code, analyzes massive mountains of financial data, creates a totally global marketing campaign, and answers customer questions in dozens of languages. And, get this, all of that happens before most people have even finished their morning coffee. Now, moments like this, they aren't just science fiction anymore. They are actively, literally changing the global economy right now. Some experts are even calling this the biggest technological revolution since the internet, comparing it to the adoption of electricity itself. Because it's not just about creating new tech companies, it's about transforming quite literally every existing business on Earth.
And because this transformation is just so massive, it brings us to a true trillion-dollar question. Which companies will become the biggest winners before 2027? This is the monumental question that's currently on every single investor's mind right now. The stakes are absolutely massive, but as we are going to see, the true winners might not actually be the companies making the loudest noise on your social media feeds.
So let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the AI gold rush, move into the infrastructure advantage, look at the tech giants competing, uncover the unseen enablers, and finally finish up with hype versus discipline.
Part 1. The AI gold rush. Looking to the past to predict the future.
To truly understand today's technological revolution, we actually have to look in the rearview mirror. When we look at historical precedents, a really clear pattern emerges. Think back to the California gold rush. The vast majority of miners out panhandling, they never actually struck it rich. The ones who made the massive fortunes were the businesses selling them the tools, the equipment, the supplies. The classic pick and shovel businesses. Well, today's AI revolution is following that exact same pattern. While millions of people are focused on viral chatbots and flashy consumer apps, billions of dollars are quietly flowing into the underlying infrastructure. The real money is in the unseen foundation.
Part 2. The infrastructure advantage. The anatomy of artificial intelligence. Let's pivot for a second and look at the heavy physical reality of what it actually takes to build and train these systems, because the physical footprint is staggering. Listen, a single modern AI server rack can weigh over a ton and consume as much power as an entire small neighborhood. To train a foundational model, you need thousands of highly specialized computer chips, sprawling data centers, enormous electricity consumption, advanced networking equipment that transfers unimaginable amounts of information every single second, and cloud platforms processing petabytes of data. Without these massive physical investments, which are totally going to reach hundreds of billions of dollars globally over the next few years, the artificial intelligence ecosystem simply does not exist.
Part 3. The tech giants competing, the heavyweights of the AI era.
Right now, governments and businesses are frantically racing to secure their foothold, and the battlefield is mapped out pretty perfectly between 4 major players, each carving out a highly defensible role. You have NVIDIA totally dominating the hardware space with unmatched simultaneous calculation speeds. You've got Microsoft leveraging its software ecosystem deeply embedded in our daily tools. Alphabet holds the absolute keys to the data kingdom with unrivaled training information. And Amazon, they are renting out computing power at a massive scale through the cloud. Each one of them is playing a critical, completely distinct position on the exact same trillion-dollar field.
Let's zoom in a bit closer on NVIDIA. Now, a few years ago, you probably just knew them for gaming hardware, right? But today, they're the undisputed kingpins of AI hardware. The architectural shift to parallel processing has created an unprecedented supply bottleneck. So when major tech companies build a new data center, they literally need thousands of GPUs simultaneously. The demand is so explosive that customers are waiting months for deliveries. It's totally transformed NVIDIA into a central pillar of the entire global economy.
Then we have Microsoft, who is proving exactly why established giants can absolutely win the next wave. They aren't treating AI as some separate little side product. They are embedding it directly into the fabric of our daily work. We're talking Windows, Office, email, coding environments, the whole shebang. By doing this, they can generate massive AI revenue from billions of loyal existing customers. Think about that. They don't have to go out and acquire a single new user to profit from this revolution. It is an incredibly efficient, high-leverage strategy.
Now, Alphabet, Google's parent company, they face a really fascinating double-edged sword. Artificial intelligence is only as good as the data it's trained on, and practically no one, anywhere, has more high-quality information than Google, thanks to search, maps, and YouTube. That is an undeniable advantage, but there is a very real threat here. If users start getting direct AI answers instead of clicking on links, while the traditional search advertising model could be severely disrupted.
So Alphabet finds themselves in the wildly unique position of having to lead a technological revolution while simultaneously protecting the most profitable search business ever created.
Finally, rounding out our heavyweight category, we have Amazon. While the general public sees 2-day shipping and Prime Video, investors are focused entirely on AWS. As AI expands, the computing power required is just staggering. Most enterprises simply cannot afford the immense capital expenditure to build billion-dollar data centers from scratch. So what do? They rent that infrastructure from AWS. As long as the AI boom is running, Amazon's cloud infrastructure is happily renting out the computing power to keep the whole engine turning.
Part 4. The unseen enablers, the quiet powerhouses.
So behind the massive household names we just talked about, there are crucial, under-the-radar companies making the entire ecosystem function. I absolutely love this insight. Faster networking often means faster artificial intelligence. Think about it. When you have thousands of ultra-powerful computers working together, moving information efficiently between them is just as critical as the computer chips themselves. This is exactly where companies like Broadcom step in. They develop the networking equipment and the semiconductor technologies that actually allow these massive data centers to communicate with each other. They might not get the flashy public attention of a viral chatbot for sure, but these unseen enablers are quietly powering the entire revolution.
And this brings us to a major mindset shift. If you are watching this, it's time to adopt the perspective of a professional investor. We need to stop asking which specific chatbot is going to be number one. Instead, we need to ask this fundamental question. Which businesses benefit regardless of which AI application becomes the most popular? Because whether an app from company A or company B ends up winning the consumer war, they both need chips, they both need cloud servers, and they both need advanced networking and power infrastructure. That right there is the true infrastructure advantage.
Part 5. Hype versus discipline, the sober reality of investing.
Now we have to keep our feet on the ground here. During every technological revolution, stock prices can rise way faster than actual company profits. We saw in the dot-com boom, right? Thousands of companies appeared and many disappeared just as fast. When expectations become completely unrealistic, even outstanding world-class businesses can see massive stock declines. So discipline is absolutely paramount. You have to look past the social media trends and focus on the durable metrics: revenue growth, profit margins, competitive advantages, management quality, balance sheets, and future cash flow. A great company is not always a great investment at every price.
And hey, since we are talking about investing, let me clearly state for the record, this explainer is strictly for educational purposes and is absolutely not financial advice. Predicting the future with certainty is pretty much impossible, so please always do your own rigorous research before investing your hard-earned money into any stock or financial asset. The companies that will define tomorrow's economy are actively competing right now. Some of them are going to completely dominate the next 10 years, while others will quietly vanish. History always rewards patience, deep research, and long-term thinking over wild speculation. So I'm going to leave you with this final, incredibly important question to ponder. Can you spot the difference between the next decade's massive winners and the unexpected losers before everyone else does? Keep your focus on the infrastructure.